Hi, Johnny.
Hola.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Ok. Tuve dos
¿Mm?
scans today.
¿Dos qué?
Dos scans.
¿Por qué?
El que tengo todos los días y luego tuve un stress test, un PET scan.
¿Qué es eso?
Es como un stress test.
Ah,
Yeah. So I'm all scanned.
okay. Hi, Johnny.
So we're on Membase 42.
Okay.
That if you sell a field in front of Adim, you can collect from the Chosim Mishubadi. It doesn't have a call. Listen, if you're going to buy a field, you better make sure before you pay the money that you investigate what the title is. That means, does the guy who's selling this have debts? If he has debts, the guy who he owes money to can come and take the field away from you. So they better check it out. So it's not a matter of call, it's a matter of self-interest. So, Umiyomer of Hachi, that a sale or some kind of deal that goes down in front of Adim, not a star, the guy can collect from, assets that have a lien on it, but not. Hamabis Chaver Bishtar. Reuven lends Shimon $1,000. Shimon has a field. And after the date of the star, when his field is liened to payment of that loan, he goes out and sells it to Levi. When Reuven comes to Shimon to collect $1,000, and he doesn't have $1,000 free and clear, Reuven could go to Levi, who bought the field from Shimon, and collect that field because it was previously liened to Reuven. That's if it was done with a star. Because a star is like publishing it in the Los Angeles Legal Journal. It's published. People know about it. And therefore, they're going to be aware when they buy or sell an asset, there's a previous shibud on it. But if the person made the loan on you, they aid him without a star, you cannot, if Shimon sells the field to Levi, Reuven cannot go and get the Levi. Only Goyim and Chasim Nechorin. He can only collect from Shimon free and clear assets, money, metaltalin, but not something that he sold off. So how could Rob say that even something that was documented with Adim, you can collect from an Chasim and Shabbatim? You see, you can't. Kasha and Rob. Maybe you'll answer. The Rav Tanahu Upalik. Rav is the first generation of the Amiroim. And in a few places in Shas, where they bring a stira between a halach of Rav and a baraisa, or some other Tanaitic piece of literature, they answer the kasha up by saying, well, Rav has the koach of a Tana, can argue. But that can't be here, because Rav Shmuel Damer Tarvayu, Malva Alpeh, with Adim, you can't collect from somebody that the land was sold to. Freik the Gemara. Or we answer, Umi Malva Azvini Karamis. You bring me a kasha about a loan, but the Gemara talked about a sale. Malva ki gayozif, but it's in a kayozif. Person borrows money quietly. He doesn't want people to know that he's borrowing money. Why? People find out that Shimon is borrowing money, he doesn't have money, he's not going to get full price for things that he's trying to sell. People are gonna offer him they're gonna lowball him. So since he borrows Bitsina, nobody hears about it. So that's why you can't, a loan, you can't go even milukuchos. But a sale, zvini, mandazavin arba for hesyazavin. Sales are done publicly because the seller wants to get maximum price. Kihechi delefik lekola. So there's no kasha halvo versus mecher. Two different realities. Ton Rabbanon. Ochla av shana ve'aben shtayim. A squatter is in a field, and the squatter ate for 1 year, then he died, and then his son eats, who's the yoresh, eats for 2 years, or vice versa. Ha'av shtayim ve'aben shana. Or ha'av shana ve'aben shana v'halokeach. Somebody who purchased it from the son eats for shana. And meanwhile, the original owner never protests. Arezu chazaka. It establishes chazaka. So what do you mean? Lemeimesh lekach is lekala. Is he going to spread the word that he bought something for a minu? Achla b'fnei ha'av shana. Ufnei ha'ben shtayim. Somebody who's squatting on a piece of land. And the land is owned by a father who has a son. And the father doesn't protest, the son doesn't protest for 2 years. Or b'fnei ha'av shana, b'fnei ha'ben shana. B'fnei ha'av shana, b'fnei ha'ben shana, b'fnei lokech shana, arezu chazaka. Yisal gedaitik lokech is lekola. If a purchaser has a call, en lecha machag do'elazu. That means, if the bailim sell the asset that a person is being mazik to another party, that's clearly where he's protesting the Av and the Ben that were squatting there. Amar Papa Kitanya Ahi. The Moicher Sedois of Stam. This son didn't just sell this specific field. He sold all of his fields. One of the fields is this one. And this squatter thought that this field wasn't sold among the group of fields. So he's not careful to watch the star. After 3 years, even if it doesn't have a star, if no one protested while he's there, it's good chazaka. But if the son sold that particular field, then that's clearly a macha. That's clearly a protest. There's no greater protest than that. Mishnah. Ha'umnin. It's a craftsman. You go and you give a watch to a watchmaker to fix it, and the watchmaker holds on to it. So or somebody brings clothing to dye. So he has a reason, so he can say, you know what, I bought this. He's claiming that it's his. V'hashutofim, partners, v'harisim, sharecroppers in the field. V'aputropin, executors of the state of Yisoimim. So they cannot establish chazaka. Elam chazaka. With the
Ernie, what happens in cases like at a shoemaker, there's a sign there, you must pick up your shoes within 90 days. And no one ever comes to pick them up. So who owns the shoes?
So right now, this Mishnah seems to be saying that a craftsman who's working on an item that was given to him cannot establish chazaka by holding on to it, even I don't care how long it is, because he has a reason for why it's there.
Right.
And we're suspicious that these people are going to claim that it owns it. Now, even in halacha, there could be a period of time which goes by where he gets to keep it like a lost object. But that's a good question. But in general, these type of people cannot create chazaka by holding on to it because they're given up all the time.
Ernie, but this, even though he's a craftsman, if he puts a sign up, that's like having a star. Hey, listen, you're coming for 3 months. I'm not holding your stuff after 3 months. So why wouldn't why wouldn't he be able to acquire it?
It could be in Dine Chazaka.
Okay, it's not
if he holds on to it for 3 years, it's still not his. Because this Mishnah just said a craftsman cannot, because we know people are giving them items all the time. So now this is a side issue about a sign, or he gets agreement from the guy that if you don't pick it up in a thing, then it becomes like a lost object, and maybe he has rights to it. I think that's a different din. Doesn't fall under the realm of chazaka. Then lo leish chazaka b'nichsei ishto. Right, a wife comes into a marriage with fields. Just because the husband is in the field eating and he can't establish chazaka in that, it's not his, it's his wife's. And there's a reason why he's there, because a Baal eats peiros and him a look. And similar, lo isha chazaka b'nichsei baila, the woman cannot establish chazaka in the assets of her husband. Lo la'av b'nichsei aben, v'lo la'ben b'nichsei av. They get permission to use these items. And just because you're in that field for 3 years and nobody protests, that's not a reason where we're going to say, oh, that must belong to him. There's no proof that there was a change in ownership just because the guy was squatting there with these relationships. Bamed v'mamun b'machzik. Abba b'noisen matana. But let's say a father gave his son a gift in front of Adim, or or partner gave a gift to the other partner, or any of these. There's a gift document, or ha'achin shechalku, brothers that divided up a Yerusha, and each one is machzik in their share, or machzik b'nichsei ager. You have a ger who dies. Now, a ger who converted has no family, so he isn't yoresh. So whoever grabs the nichsei ager first becomes the owner, because his assets become hefker. So somebody goes and establishes chazaka in some kind of nechasim that a ger owned. No'al, if he closes the door, or godar, and fenced it, or poratz kolshu, or he opened up a fence, these are acts of improvement. Arei chazaka. That's a good chazaka, and he gets bilus of these items. Abu Shmuel v'Levi Ton. The father of Shmuel and Levi learned. Shutuf ein lo chazak. You have a partner. 2 partners own a field. The partner sits in the field for 3 years. His other partner doesn't say anything. That doesn't establish chazaka. They're partners. He had a reason for being there. Ve kol shekain umin. And certainly, if you give something to a craftsman, it cannot establish chazaka. However, Shmuel Tani umin ein lo chazaka. A craftsman can never establish chazaka, but shutuf yesh lo chazaka. But if a shutuf is in a field for 3 years and the other partner doesn't say anything, he acquires it. As the Shmuel Tamei, Shmuel is consistent. Amar Shmuel, hashutafim machzikin ze'al zeh. Partners can establish chazaka one against the other. Ume'idin ze'al zeh. A partner is not a karov. He can give testimony. He's not considered nogeh b'davar. V'nasim shomrei sachar zelazeh. And they can become a shomer sachar watching the other person. It's not considered, they're considered like they're 2 different people. Rami le Rav Abba Rav Yudah b'maras debate. The Rav Zakkai. Miyomer Shmuel shouldn't yesh l'chazaka. Did Shmuel say that a partner can establish chazaka? V'amar Shmuel shutif, who's using a certain asset, ki yoret b'shustami. It's as if he was given permission to go there. That means shutif ein l'chazaka. So loy kasha had nachas l'kul, had nachas l'palga. Depends if he went into a field and he used the whole field or just part. And Amri Lola Gisa, some say that a partner who was machzik for 3 years, half of the field, so that's proof that half of that field he was kind of from the beginning. But if he squatted on the whole field for the 3 years, that does not establish chazaka because he had a partner. But you could say the opposite, that if he only goes into half the field, that's not a chazaka. But if he's machzik the whole field, it is a chazaka. That's one way of explaining the distinction. Ravina Omar Hava Denachas L'Kulo. No, in both cases we're talking the shutif occupied the whole field. How come in one case he can establish chazaka, in the other case he can't? Lo kasha. Hadi isba din chaluka. Depends how big the piece of land is. If it's big enough that you can divide it up, so the shutif that used the whole piece of field, he clearly went into a chelik that belonged to his friend. And if the friend didn't protest, they'll establish chazaka. Hadalespin din chaluka. But let's say a very small piece of land, and that even if he went into the whole piece of land, since it cannot be divided, and really the whole thing belongs to both of them, even if he went into the whole file, that's not a proof for bilus. And therefore, in that case, he would not establish chazaka. Gufa, Amr Shmuel. Shutif, ki yored b'shustami. If you find a partner in a field, we treat him as if he was given rishus to go there. And therefore what? My kamash one, sheshutvis ein chazaka. And you imply from there that neither shutuf could establish chazaka against the other. So why did you say it in this obtuse way? You should have said lema directly, shutuf ein chazaka. Amrav Nachman Amrav Avu loymar. Let's say he planted trees there. Shenoitel b'shvach ha'meil tefayim. He gets to take the fruits that have grown up to your shoulders, even from the chelik of his friend. All of the growth came from this land. If it reached a certain ripeness, he gets his share. And it's not as if it's a case like somebody went into somebody's field without rishus and planted there. There is his hand is on the bottom, and he only gets the expenses that he paid. And the owner of the field keeps everything else. But a field that you can't plant in is kesada asuyalita. All fields are treated the same. Then we also said, according to Shmuel, that partners are me'idin zelazeh. Somebody comes and makes a claim that this field doesn't belong to these partners, and maybe on one of them, the other one with another aid can give testimony on behalf of his partner. He's not considered noigei abdudon. Now, the question is why? Am I noigin bo? They have a conflict of interest. Why should we accept Eidus, even on the other guy from the aid that is his partner? We'll deal with this tomorrow. So tomorrow, just the schedule. Harold has yard site tomorrow, right? Harold, you have yard site tonight, right?
Yes,
So, but we're going to have Mincha at Tzvika Reisman's house, 7:35.
right.
There's going to be a lot of kugel. There's a kugel off. Like a bake-off, there's a kugel off. Some of the ladies made kugelach. So come with a good appetite. And I would suggest that we learn the Daf Yomi at 6 o'clock.
That works. That's
Tomorrow.
good.
That
Okay? It's a small blot. We should be finished. And then we'll have plenty of time to go to Mincha.
All right.
Okay?
so Mincha is 6 o'clock. Okay.
So Mincha will be at 7:35 at
No,
Tzvi's.
no, they're learning.